SOLIDWORKS Manage provides advanced data management capabilities for bill of materials configuration, process and project management alongside configurable dashboards and reports. Manage is an extension to SOLIDWORKS PDM, CAD and document management capabilities and provides a single environment where all of your product, process and project information can be connected. In this presentation, I'm going to be concentrating on the great new enhancements in 2021, which are in three main areas. I'll start by looking at the project improvements, then I'll show you some great enhancements for managing and editing bills and materials, and finally we'll look at some of the additional capabilities for collaborating with others. In SOLIDWORKS Manage, we can create projects to manage timelines, tasks and resources associated with a project. We can also link CAD and other documents managed in PDM to the project stages and tasks. One of the great capabilities in SOLIDWORKS Manage is the project planning tools, which can be used to view and manage a number of projects at the same time. We've always been able to select a number of projects and display them in the project planning tool. And here you can see we've two projects. And we can expand the projects to see all the stages on the left and the timeline on the right. We can also display the load chart, where we can see if any of our team are overutilized. In this case, we can see that one of our designers is overcommitted. We can also use the project planning tools to move or reschedule our projects based on our resource availability. In 2021, instead of selecting multiple projects each time we want to use the project planning tool, we can now save the selected projects as a list. These lists or sets of projects can be made available to all users or could be defined for individual project managers. If a new project is created, it's very easy to add it to an existing list. You can add the project and open the projects into the planning tool in one operation. Project lists are a great enhancement and a good way to logically group projects together. For example, you could have a list of all your new product introduction projects and a separate list for all your engineer to order projects. It's a really good way for project managers to maintain the projects that they're responsible for. In SOLIDWORKS Manage, you can assign tasks and resources to each stage of the project. Tasks are used to detail the work packages and activities that make up the project. The task can then be shared out amongst the project team members. As you work on a task, you can update your progress, which can be fed back into the overall project. In this example, we're looking at one of the SOLIDWORKS design tasks. As a designer completes their work, they can attach the CAD files they've created to the task. This makes it very easy for all the other team members to see the design work they have completed directly from the project. Once the work is finished, the designer can then update and complete the task. Prior to 2021, updating project progress when tasks were completed was a manual task typically performed by the project manager. In 2021, there's a new background service that is scheduled to automatically update the project progress when the users are updating or completing their tasks. When the project manager opens the project, the progress will always be up to date. The new background service automatically includes task attachments such as these CAD files as project deliverables, saving even more time. Another great new enhancement is the built-in task dashboard in 2021. This is the task dashboard for the project we have open. You can track the task timeline and view the task by status and priority. Each user also has their own personal dashboard so they can keep track and monitor all the tasks that are assigned to them. We also have a task board. Task boards are fantastic because they're a very visual way of looking at tasks. In 2021, we have two new options for viewing tasks, by status and by priority. You can toggle between these two options to view the project tasks from these different perspectives. And what is really great about the task board is you can drag and drop the tasks to update them. In this case, we're going to initiate the task by moving it to the in progress status. You can also open the task directly from the task board and start work. So really great 2021 enhancements when working with projects. In SOLIDWORKS Manage, you can create bills of materials over and above the CAD bill of materials captured in SOLIDWORKS. In Manage, we can use records to represent components that are not modelled in CAD, and can combine these records with the CAD models to configure different types of bills of materials to suit different requirements. In this section, I'm going to introduce you to some fantastic new 2021 BOM editing capabilities, which are going to make it much easier and faster to create and maintain all of your bills of materials. I'm going to edit a manufacturing BOM which is structured around process operations rather than a CAD BOM which reflects the way the product operates and fits together. The manufacturing BOM is attached to the task we were looking at in the previous section. So we can open the BOM directly from the task. Access the manufacturing BOM in its own window. And probably one of the best yet simplest enhancements in 2021 is modeless windows. This is the ability to open records in their own windows and the ability to work in multiple windows at the same time. Prior to 2021, this was pretty difficult, if not impossible, to do, and was really frustrating. In this example, we're going to have the manufacturing BOM open in the left-hand window and a CAD BOM in the right-hand window. And you will see how I can work in both windows at once, taking components from the CAD BOM to build up my manufacturing process BOM using the new BOM editing tools. Modis Windows seems like a small enhancement, but it's going to make a massive difference to those using SOLIDWORKS Manage day to day. Now we are set up to take advantage of a lot of the new editing tools like copy, cut and paste. Here we're going to copy one of the parts from our PDM CAD assembly and add it to our record represented the machining center in our manufacturing BOM. You can see it's added as a child of the machining center. I can also use the new editing tools from inside the manufacturing bill of materials window. I'm going to use the copy from tool to find a CAD assembly and copy items into my manufacturing bills of material. So here you can see I can search for my PDM CAD bill of materials by entering the part number. This is the assembly we want to copy the items from. And new in 2021 is the ability to preview the items before you add them to the manufacturing bills of materials. And what is great about this is the ability to select only the files you want to copy. In 2020, all of the items were added, and you'd then have to remove the ones you didn't want. Now that we have added these parts to our manufacturing bills of materials, 2 of them are going to be 3D printed. So in 2021 we can now cut these files. Notice that the cut files are highlighted in red, and paste them into the record representing the 3D printer in our manufacturing bills of materials. We can use the embedded preview in the bill of materials view to take a look at the components. We can see that this assembly contains a sheet metal component which will be cut out on a laser and formed on a brake press. In this example, our bill of materials is organised by manufacturing process. We already have an item for the laser operation, but now we need to add a record for the brake press operation. Another new enhancement in 2021 is the ability to add new items directly from within the bill of materials you're working on. So here we have used the new from command on the laser process record to create a new process record which is linked to our brake press. To perform the same operation in 2020, you'd have to close the bill of materials, create the new record, and then return to the bill of materials to add the newly created record. So there is a really big time saving here. In 2021 we can dissolve assemblies, leaving the child items in our bill of materials. This will allow us to restructure the bill of materials based on the manufacturing processes we are using in this example. The threaded studs are not required in our manufacturing process bill of materials, so we can remove them as they are consumables which will be fitted on the shop floor. Now we can cut the sheet metal part and paste it to the laser and brake press records to complete our manufacturing bill of materials. This is just one example of a bill of materials in SOLIDWORKS Manage. There are obviously a lot of different interpretations of manufacturing bills of materials and what companies want to do with bills of materials in general. But I think the main point is all of the editability you need for bill of materials configuration is now here in this release of SOLIDWORKS Manage. The methodology for creating bills of materials is now a much more streamlined process which requires a lot less time and effort. I think the additional BOM editing tools are the best enhancement in 2021. The last area of 2021 enhancement we're going to look at in this session is the web client. The full web client gives you access to all the capabilities and benefits of SOLIDWORKS Manage found in the Windows client. There is also a targeted web client that can be configured to give your customers and supply chain a more limited access to the product information that is relevant to them and only the information that you want them to have access to. Here I'm going to log into the full web client and you can see that the interface is pretty much the same as if I was using a Windows client installed on my laptop. Now I'm going to search the PDM records to find an assembly that I'm interested in and take a closer look at the component. We can open the preview on the right hand side to see a thumbnail image of the component. In 2021, the SOLIDWORKS Manage web client is integrated with the PDM web client, so now I'm able to get a full 3D preview. This is a great new enhancement that makes it much easier to get into the detail and interrogate your design data directly from the web client. The last 2021 enhancement we're going to look at, and this is probably my favourite after the new bills and materials editing tools, is the ability to select items and share by link. The new share by link option is a great way to share your product information with your customers and suppliers. You can either send the link in an email or you can copy the link and send it in a different way. You can set security on the download link with a password, and you can set an expiry date on the link as well if you want to. You can also use predefined templates to make sure all the information required is sent. In this case it's a SOLIDWORKS assembly, so the template ensures that the component models are included in the zip file available through the download link. I'm going to copy the link into another tab on my browser so you can see what the recipient sees when they receive the shared link. You can see that I have to enter the password to gain access to the download link. And also I will not be able to download the file after the expiry date that has been set. Now I can activate the download to get access to the zip file contained in the SOLIDWORKS assembly and its associated files. I think this is a fantastic new enhancement in 2021 and provides a very straightforward way to share information in a secure way with your customers and suppliers. What I particularly like about this approach is that it's very simple and easy to use. And this methodology has a very low overhead in terms of managing third-party access to your product information in SOLIDWORKS Manage. I have shown you the 2021 enhancements in SOLIDWORKS Manage in three main areas. I've shown you new capabilities in projects that will make your team more efficient. And I have shown you a fantastic new set of editing tools for bill of materials, which will dramatically streamline the process of generating and maintaining bills of materials. And I finished up by showing you a great way of securely sharing your product information with your customers and supply chain. Thanks for attending the session. I hope you found it useful and informative.